Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Circle of Creation podcast episode number 3. Today, I am excited to welcome someone who truly embodies what Circle of Creation is all about, bringing innovation, purpose, and humanity together. Parul has spent her career helping organizations navigate change, embrace technology, and build strategies that create lasting impacts. She has worked with global companies across industries while also dedicating years of service to the nonprofit world as a volunteer, board member, and board chair. And what I admire the most about Parul is that she's not only about the innovation technology, but she always has told me that it's all about people. She led the launch of digital fertility platform that made education and treatment more accessible to people navigating one of the life's hardest journeys. And time again, she has helped mission-driven organization turn vision into action. Always approaching the work with empathy. We are going to talk about it, how empathetic she is, curiosity, and deep commitment to making a difference. Parul, my guest today, is a business strategist, innovation executive, nonprofit leader, and someone who reminds us that most meaningful innovation always begins with people. Welcome to podcast Circle of Creation at the link.
Well, thank you so much, Gurpreet. I just have to say I'm humbled and honored to be able to be on this podcast with all of you at Circle of Creation. I never would have imagined that you would have picked me to join you for the podcast.
Oh my goodness,
super
you are just so humble and you are so modest.
So
I am so excited to have you here. I remember our first meeting, and we talked about you speaking at Circle of Creation for design thinking. And at that point, you had given me your work experience, how experienced you are with major companies like AWS and Salesforce. And you are so modest. You have never come across like, a big executive woman. You just surface yourself so well and so approachable. And I admire that about you because that's what Circle of Creation is all about. We just kind of leave our statuses behind and we just try to help each other. So, Parul, can you tell us how people who don't know about you, what are the 3 things that we should know about you?
Great question. Well, I think the one thing that I guess most people don't ever expect, especially in our virtual world that we live in today, right? We're always on a phone or behind a video camera,
Yes.
right? And so most people never imagine that I'm 4'9". When I walk into a room and the first time I meet someone,
She has great sense of humor.
they look at me and they go, wait a minute, you're a lot shorter than I thought you were in real life. And I said, well, what did you imagine me to be? And, and so maybe that's one thing that's really, kind of a funny part is I'm on the tinier side as a human physically, which people never can wrap their heads around. But I think
after reading about you,
Yes.
such an extensive work experience with so many big corporations, and then this very friendly person walks up to you and she is so approachable. I mean, that's so great about you. I will always remember our first meeting, yes.
and tiny.
Well, if you want to say that.
That's right. But so I think 3 things that paint a picture of who I am. I think it's really important for people to know. So I'm an immigrant, born in India, came to the U.S. when I was young. And the reason I think that becomes important is because as an immigrant, I consider myself very hardworking. And that came because of being an immigrant.
Yes.
Right? You come to a place where you look different, you sound different. Everything around you, the environment is different from where you came from. And the only thing you really know is when you don't have anything, hard work is going to get you to where you need to go. And so
true.
That being an immigrant, I think, has instilled this ethic of working hard in me that I will likely never give up on and never leave. So I think that's number 1. Number 2, I am an engineer by degree. I have a degree in biomedical engineering, and I share that with people because that engineering degree, it truly fits my personality. I have this, I like to say I'm forever curious. That I love to learn and explore new things, and I think that's what I'm going to continue to do. My hope is I'll do that until my last days, but I think it comes from being that engineer.
Okay.
Just always curious. And then
Okay.
I think the third thing people probably want to know about me is I am willing to challenge the status quo.
Of course.
I like to challenge the status quo, but I like to do it by trying to understand why. And as an engineer, we went through, you go through Six Sigma, and they tell you there's 6 whys. So you got to always ask, and it's the 6th one that's going to tell you the real root cause of something.
Okay.
I really live by that philosophy, is the understanding the why, getting down to the bottom of things. But then there's a saying and a prayer that I keep, and it's hanging up in my office, in my home office today, and it's the Serenity Prayer. So it's while you try to understand the why and get to the heart of things, the Serenity Prayer says, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, right? The courage to change the things I can,
Yes.
and the wisdom to know the difference. And so while we can understand the why, and I want to challenge the status quo, in my mind, it always comes down to reminding myself of that Serenity Prayer, that if I can change something, let's go change it. And if not, let's accept it.
Yes.
And know when it's the time to accept versus the time to change. So I would say those are the 3 things of who I am.
Wow. And going back to that Serenity Prayer and your journey as an immigrant in the new country, I think you have had extensive career. And you started at Boston University, was it? Mm-hmm. And then you did the biomedical engineering, but you chose a very different career path. Can you shine on your career path, how you started your career working with all these big corporations, nonprofits, as well as your work that you have done in Jacksonville, and then why you decided to come to Jacksonville?
Sure. So I think, so the degree in engineering and the career journey started, I have to say I probably stumbled on it. And this willing to challenge is probably what made me stumble into the career that I started on. So as an engineer, I thought my dream job was going to be to do research and do heart research.
Okay.
And that's what I was working with a startup on. And along the way, as I was doing that while I was in college, my brother-in-law said, there's this thing called consulting out there. Mm. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And back when I went to school, it was very new. And he said, I think you would really like it. Mm-hmm. And he worked for a place called Anderson Consulting at the time. And he said, you should just apply there. And I said, I spent 4 years getting an engineering degree. I worked really hard. And why would I go do something called consulting? I'm getting an engineering job. So I applied to consulting, to Anderson Consulting. I applied to a bunch of engineering jobs. I got a bunch of offers. And the best offer I had was from Anderson Consulting.
Okay.
And he said, I bet you will like it. And I'm not one to lose a bet real easily. And so I said, okay, you're on. I'm going to try this thing.
Yes.
Right? They're giving me a really good job offer. I don't know what it is, but why not try it out, right?
Yes.
And so I joined Anderson Consulting back in the 90s, and what I ended up doing actually was I spent that first 10 years at Anderson Consulting, which then turned into Accenture. This is the company that you hear about today, the big Accenture. So it was pre-IPO, and I spent the first 10 years there doing consulting and helping companies with engineering and manufacturing problems.
Okay.
And so what I figured out was I had this love of I'm an engineer at heart, and I got to take all that engineering understanding and apply it into the business world and solve engineering and manufacturing problems, and I thought I was in heaven. Right. 10 years of taking the things that I love doing and solving problems for other people.
Okay.
And other companies. And so that kind of got me started. I ended up spending 18 years at Accenture.
And where was this?
I started my career in Boston.
Okay.
At Anderson Consulting. So that first 4 years was in Boston. I ended up getting married, moved out to San Francisco, transferred offices.
Okay.
Kind of moved in a lot of different places along that 18 years. Eventually, I ended my 18-year career at Accenture in New Jersey.
Okay.
I was a managing partner, I guess one of 3,000 partners in a company of 385,000 people.
That's impressive.
And I had expanded from doing only engineering, manufacturing, consulting. I went end-to-end supply chain, everything from supply chain strategy down to network logistics, you name it. And then broadened even further where I was doing operational transformation across big enterprises.
Okay.
And I think, I loved my career at Accenture. 18 years, climbed the ladder. I had 3 children along the way, and they did an amazing job as an organization to support being a mother and a full-time employee. And so had that career, and then I got a knock on the door. Someone called and said, hey, there's this really small consulting firm, and we want you to come build a strategy business for us, because I was always aligned into the strategy business at Accenture. And so Slalom Consulting called me, said, come build the strategy business for New York. And I said, sure, why not? And their model in terms of work-life balance is very different, and it aligned really nicely to where I was in terms of having 3 little children.
Yes.
And this promise of not getting on a plane every week or, once every quarter was great. And so I said, why not try it?
Yes.
Try this new thing of building a business.
Yes.
In a space that I know. And so I moved over to Slalom. I spent 7 years at Slalom, built the strategy business.
For who though?
For Slalom Consulting.
And that is like
New York market.
And they do it for New York market.
So they do it for Slalom Consulting today serves Fortune 500 companies. They serve smaller organizations, nonprofits, you name it.
Okay.
They're just a smaller version of the big 4 consulting firms out there.
Okay.
They were very heavily focused on technology and technology consulting for cloud-based technologies, hence the AWS, the Salesforce, the Google.
Okay.
That's the way that I got introduced into all these cloud technologies. But they did it, and they were very technology-focused, and they were struggling to do the upfront strategy work.
Okay.
And do business strategy. And that was what they really wanted to do. So they said, can you come in and help us build that part of the business? And I said, sure. Like, that's what I did at Accenture. And so when I joined them, it was in their New York market, New York business, which covered Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey.
Okay.
So spent a couple of years working with companies, helping them do business strategy, technology strategy under the Slalom umbrella. And then they said, well, we think that we really can serve mid-market companies. And so mid-market companies, the way we had defined it, were organizations that were $500 million to $4 billion.
Okay.
Right, and we think we can help them quite a bit from a consulting standpoint. And so they asked me to build the strategy for that business and create the blueprint across all of Slalom. And so build that business. And so that's what I did. And then eventually, so after 7 years at the tail end of my career, I had worked with the global leadership team and the CEO there at Slalom on the strategy for the company and growing the consulting business. And at the same time, we just happened to, my husband took on a new job. That job, the second largest office in North America, happens to be in Jacksonville, Florida.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. And what is that company?
That company was Macquarie.
Okay.
The Macquarie Group. And so we said, well, there's an opportunity for him to come down to Jacksonville. It just happened, by chance, that he had family that lives in Jacksonville for over 30 years. And so he was like, well, I got a ton of family down there. We didn't have any family left in New Jersey, and we had our kids. And we said, hey, you know what? Like, if we want to move, this is the time to do it before our oldest goes to high school, and we said, why not try it? And maybe Florida's a great place to retire. We could start the retirement journey. And
you're too far from that. You are not retiring.
That's what brought us.
We need you. We need you in workforce, and we need you as a consultant.
Well, and what's interesting? So I'll digress a little bit and just share that when I came down here in 2022, I was still with Slalom, and then I left, and I said, it's time to take a break.
Yes.
And just do a little bit of soul searching. So I took a break in 2023, and I didn't work for the first 3 months of the year. And it was nice, right? I played golf. I like to golf. So played some golf. I did a lot of cooking because I love to do that. I read a lot. I spent a lot of time with my kids. I did all those things. And what I learned in that 3 months was that I will never stop working. The reason being is that I was doing a lot of things. None of them were satisfying my intellectual curiosity, and I couldn't find a way to really fill my cup around that. Yeah. Goes back to that, like, forever curious. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't find enough things to learn and do in my downtime or here in this environment to just enjoy, right, and thrive. And so I think the conclusion I drew after 3 months of not working and kind of being semi-retired, I guess, was I will work forever. Yes. Now I will
because
not
that
work
fuels
40
your
hours.
creativity and innovative
That's
mind.
Right. Yeah. Like it won't be for. I won't work 40 hours a week. Yes. That is going to end.
You want that freedom
soon.
Yes. You want that flexibility.
Right. I hope it would end soon. Like, I'm really hoping. Like, this. But the plan is, I would love to be working 10 to 20 hours in a week. Okay. For the rest of my life. Okay. Because I think what I've learned is that will fill my intellectual curiosity cup that I think really helps keep that fire going in me. Yes. And so that's what got us here to Jacksonville. I'll tell you, when I got here, I didn't know anybody. I left my entire professional network up in the Northeast. My husband's family was here, so I knew all the family, right, on my husband's side. None of my family was here. And so I had to rebuild my professional network when I got down here and start from scratch. Yes. And so what I did is I actually started volunteering for an organization called SCORE. Okay. And SCORE is with the United States Small Business Administration, and they provide free resources. Amazing organization. They do coaching and mentoring to people who either want to start their own business or they have a small business and just need some help. Yes. So it's all free. And I said, you know what? I kind of know how to do this. Yep. And so why not volunteer and help other people and get to know people in the Jacksonville community? And so I started volunteering and started to just slowly build my network in Jacksonville. And I'll tell you what I learned about Jacksonville is it is the best secret in all of the country.
Really?
From a business environment standpoint.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yes. I think, when I got here.
That's positive, yes.
It is a place that is, people don't know a lot about it. Yes. They don't talk about Jacksonville. They don't do any of that. If you want to start a business here, you can do it. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of support for it throughout the community. Yes. And you can thrive. And that's what I see. And whoever knew? Like, you never
I think
talk
the
about
ecosystem over here is very supportive. Yes. It's like everybody is nice. Everybody is ready to help you. It's just your endeavor, how much you want to go. That's right. And how much you want to create your network. Yeah. And you have been very active in many organizations here, from SCORE, from being speaker at different events, and you have spoken at Circle of Creation 2 times. Mm-hmm. And I would like to know, just for my personal reasons, because I would like to know what made you sign up for Circle of Creation for being keynote speaker 2 times?
So I love the Circle of Creation for a couple of reasons. So number one, at my core, I will never forget the fact that I have gotten to where I am today because of a huge support network. Right? As humans, we don't get to where we are without a village of people helping us through that process and getting to a certain place. So that's not lost on me. And so Circle of Creation to me is a group and a place and an opportunity to give back and support all of the other women out there. And that's my way of saying thank you, right? You got to pay it forward. It's critical to pay it forward. And so the number one reason was because Circle of Creation is designed and meant to be a safe space for women wherever they are in their life cycle journey of business, career, et cetera,
Yes.
to be able to find ways to thrive.
Yes.
And for me, I will volunteer every day, any day, all day to support women, because if I can help one woman just thrive,
Yes.
I am paying it forward, because there were so many people that helped me get to where I am that I can't be grateful enough to all those people. So this is my way of saying thank you to everybody who helped me
Yes.
by helping others.
That's so beautiful, and I think it is our. It's a personal value. It's a personal moral compass, I guess. Wherein, when you start a career, you are alone, and then people come along, and that's how Link was built.
Yes.
On a vision, and then we created this ecosystem. And I have said this all the time, the best thing about Link is meeting people like you who come in our way. We learn from them, we share ideas, and some ideas flourish into something else, or we end up doing Circle of Creation, wherein you, women like you, experienced women, contribute so much just as an inspiration. And that's what somebody is looking for. And when I envisioned Circle of Creation, I wanted to bring women from every stage of their career, because a 20-year-old can be inspired by your journey. And in this age of innovation, entrepreneurship, and disruption, we can learn a lot from that 20-year-old woman as well.
Absolutely.
So that environment has to be created. So coming to that, I mean, you have been an innovative executive. That's how you call yourself. What does that mean, innovative executive? What exactly does that entail in your career?
So in my career, I think there was a light bulb that went off for me, I guess, right? As we journey through life, we sometimes we're in search of something. And for me, that search was, what is my true purpose? And what am I here to do? Right?
Yes.
And I think the light bulb for me went off when I did something called fertility house calls. So I was at Slalom, and as part of my role at Slalom in the business I was responsible for the digital innovation program in our partnership between AWS and Slalom.
Okay.
So I led that program and led that partnership between the two companies. And as part of that, AWS did this digital innovation program where they were helping companies that had an idea to either launch a new business, to change a new business, and whether it was in their business or just a brand new idea in a startup. And they would say, we're going to walk you through the process of innovating the way we do at Amazon.
Okay.
And you're going to think big, and we're going to help you launch this product. Well, Slalom partnered with AWS, and in that program, Ferring Pharmaceuticals and AWS came to Slalom and said, hey, can you help us come up with a big idea? And the big idea was solving the problem of fertility care is inaccessible to a lot of people. But it's a problem and so IVF, you have to go to a clinic to get IVF.
Yes.
Well, the number one barrier to somebody getting IVF treatment is not money. It is not a clinic and the location of a clinic. It is not any of those things. The number one barrier is the social perception that a human has of what are people going to think when I walk into a clinic.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And so when they did all that marketing study, they said the barrier is society and the social norms that we've created. So how do we take fertility and infertility education and treatment and make it more accessible? That was the goal.
Okay.
And so when we unpacked that problem and we looked at it, we said, why not come up with a way of making it virtual where people can get education and treatment in the comfort of whatever space is comfortable for them.
Really? Wow,
and
nice.
without dictating this is the way you do it.
Okay.
And so that became Fertility House Calls, and we launched that. And so the reason that was a light bulb moment for me was because we took a real human problem,
Exactly.
and we were solving that human problem, and we used technology. We challenged the status quo. We challenged all of our thinking to come up with how do we solve for this problem to help some person
Yes.
and a group of people, right? And when I did that, that was probably the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my career.
Nice.
Because for me, it was the intersection of purpose, all of the knowledge and experience, and my love for technology
Yes.
and curiosity and innovation. And you bring all those things together. That's what it took to do that. And I was like, I really enjoy this. Like, this is what I love doing. And so that role, like, embodies, to me, innovation, and being an innovation executive is about solving real world problems and challenges that affect some of us, all of us, every day, and changing the way you think about it, asking a lot of questions to solve for that problem. And there's a really interesting, there's data and research that I'll never forget that I read that talks about if you really want to be innovative, the most innovative idea it's idea number 10. It's
I
9
remember that,
and
yes.
10.
Yeah.
Right. We all think, so we think we come up with an idea and we stop at, idea number 2, idea number 3. Well, we're not going to break through until we get to idea number 9. And so I think for me, like, really helping people think about, okay, it's a great idea. Let's challenge it even more because we're going to break through at number 9.
Yeah.
And so that's the fun for me is I want to solve real world problems. And, my 18-year career at Accenture was amazing. And my 7-year career after that at Slalom was amazing. And what we did, and the way I like to describe it, is I helped a lot of people in big companies with a lot of money make more money.
Yeah.
And that moment with Fertility House Calls really, for me, taught me my purpose is about helping people with real-world problems that don't have access to all of that money and all of that capital, not make more money, but to help just make a better life.
And I think that comes very true through your bio when you work so much as a volunteer with nonprofit organizations, and you have been a woman chairman of an organization, nonprofit. Which nonprofit was that?
So my nonprofit world, I guess, and journey got started working with Dress for Success in New Jersey.
Right.
And I loved it because what we were doing was helping women that came from really challenging backgrounds get back into the workforce.
Okay.
Right. And that took helping them get a new suit.
Yeah.
So that they felt confident about who they were and how they looked, helping them build a resume, helping them do interview skills, do all those things. And so I started volunteering with that organization. Eventually, after about 10 years of volunteering, was on their board of directors.
Okay.
Then got nominated, voted in as the chair of the board, where we transformed the organization and expanded from serving just Morris County in northern New Jersey to serving 10 counties in northern New Jersey, and increasing the impact in the community. And it was all about helping women get back on their feet because financial stability is the lifeblood of life stability.
Yes.
Right? And so that's what started my nonprofit career. And again, really showed to me like purpose is important for me.
So purpose, innovation, and you have been working with entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know for women entrepreneurs who come to Circle of Creation and who are starting a business or who are thinking about starting a business, we are in an age of disruption right now. And that has been our theme for Circle of Creation this year. And disruption, innovation, AI all go together.
Yes.
What would you want to say to women entrepreneurs or women who are trying to become more professional in this fast changing industry all over the world. What exactly innovation, if you have to tell a woman what exactly innovation is, how to embrace it, not be afraid of it, but connecting that purpose and taking innovation as a tool to drive progress towards the solution.
So I think the number one thing, women are amazing entrepreneurs. And we actually have something that entrepreneurs require that I don't think is inherent in everybody and in all genders necessarily, and that is EQ.
Yes.
To be a really good entrepreneur, you have to have very good EQ. Now, you have to also have a lot of other discipline in terms of running a business and et cetera.
Yes.
But having EQ gives you an edge that AI, technology, none of those things can ever give you. And so being able to empathize and understand, like if this is a business I want to start, here is my audience, my customer, and being able to put yourself in their shoes and empathize is going to help you unlock every problem in your business.
Yes.
The other thing that I think I would say to a woman who's starting a business or trying to grow a business is, in today's day and age, AI is really powerful, and it actually eliminates this need, I think, and this myth sometimes and barrier that we have to know everything, and we don't.
Yeah.
Right? AI can be a friend, a companion that helps fill your knowledge gaps.
Yes.
Take advantage of it.
Yes.
Right? Be okay and comfortable looking in the mirror and saying, I don't know everything. And that's 100% okay.
Yeah.
Because I have a companion
Yeah.
that can help me fill some of those knowledge gaps. So take advantage of that and be empathetic to yourself.
Yes.
So I think that's my advice is use your EQ to your advantage and have the technology and everything else complement you to unlock where you're going.
And that is so clear by your story of fertility experience and the leadership that you had in that whole sector, where there's a personal issue that everybody empathize with, but then there's a social stigma. And now how do we use the technology, which is virtual meetings, and kind of solve this very complex problem?
Yeah.
So your suggestion to women are be open to innovation, be open to AI, take AI as your companion. And this whole moral dilemma that we are going through, that, it will affect literacy. Of course, it will. At the developmental age of children, I think literacy is very important, and it is very important to understand what reading and writing are. But we, as a women entrepreneur, we are at a stage, we are at a significant, place where we can embrace AI, not being so threatened by it, that it will affect. It is, and I love the word that you have used, companion. Take it as your companion and use it as much as you want, as much as your moral compass allows you. And if it starts at a point where you think, okay, going too far into virtual AI agents and all that stuff is going to cause my assistant, who I really love and I love to work with her, it's up to you. Don't embrace it. Don't take it. Be with human beings that you love to work with. It's up to you. Being a women entrepreneur, you have that freedom, who to keep and how to keep your team together. What your viewpoint is about this whole moral dilemma we will go through? If we start implementing too much of AI, we are going to lose people, or there will be job replacement or things like that.
I'm fortunate enough now to work with another large research organization.
Okay.
And we do a lot of research on AI.
Okay.
And the number one piece of research that you can see out there is that AI actually is not replacing jobs.
Awesome.
And so while people might say that, the data shows that in 2025, there was only, I believe it's 2% of jobs that that were replaced or people laid off was getting replaced with AI. Everything else was due to downsizing.
Okay.
And so the data is showing us something very different, that AI is not replacing jobs.
Okay.
AI is transforming jobs, and that's really important. But I'm actually super excited about AI.
Yes.
And the reason I'm really excited about it is because I think with the COVID phenomenon, we found ourselves, all humans, struggling to go back to having a conversation
Yes.
and looking at people in the
Yeah.
eyes
Yeah.
and doing all of those things.
Yes.
And I'm excited because the one thing that AI can't do is look a human in the eye. It can't empathize with that human. No matter how much you try to train it right now, it's not working. And
Okay.
so it is going to force us as humans to have to go back to having good social skills, being empathetic, and being able to have a conversation.
Wow.
It's so I can have AI be my companion and take over all of the technology, small tasks and things that occupy my day.
Mm-hmm.
When Gurpreet and I are having a conversation and Gurpreet has a problem that I'm trying to solve, the only way that we're going to get to the heart of that problem is by having a conversation.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter how many prompts you give AI, AI is not going to be able to get to the heart of what is really inside of Gurpreet
Yes.
and what's happening. It's going to take me as a human to look you in the eyes and say,
And
"How are you
going
doing?"
back to that empathy, I so well remember you did a workshop at Enter Circle, our annual conference. And I don't know what, I was not part of that workshop, but I think you were so impactful in what you were stating in that workshop that one of our very core member at the link got really overwhelmed. And she was so emotional and she so connected so well with you, what you were saying. And you took your time and you did a follow-up because you felt so empathetic to that woman. And you took some of our Circle of Creation women along with that. And one of our ambassadors actually helped you to organize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was part of that, follow-up meeting. And I so clearly remember you saying it's very therapeutic to sit like this and talk non-business sometime topics, and just for us women to really open up.
Yes.
And that's why we started Human Library during Circle of Creation, wherein we listen to stories of our women members, which is not related to business at all. But I picked on that nature, that really empathetic side of you, a woman who is so who is embracing innovation technology throughout her career and has consulted in big corporations. But seeing that empathizing nature in you is all that I can say, Parul, about you. You are innovative, you are a growth strategist, but you are a woman who is so approachable. If there's an issue, we can sit with you, we can talk to you, and you bring those facts so clearly, crisp, and with so many fact-backed, data. Like you were just saying, what the data is saying about AI. How do you do that? What made you? What is it? Some culture? Is it some upbringing? What exactly is it that makes you so empathetic person?
That's a great question. And I think it probably comes down to I have been through the same journey that I bet every listener to this podcast has been through, every woman has been through, but I would argue any human has been through. And that is, I've walked in these shoes where I thought I had to be somebody, and I was trying so hard to be that person, right? Whether it was when I was a kid growing up, or whether it was when I was newly married, or whether it was I was an executive at Accenture, I was running a business at Slalom. I always had these, I have to be this person.
Okay.
And then you find yourself, I feel like an imposter.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about this imposter syndrome. And,
Yes.
and women really have the imposter syndrome, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about that. I went through all of those things, right? I went through these feelings of I had a child, and then I was working full time, and then I would travel, and I felt like I was a terrible mother.
Yes.
And, I worked full time, and I got married, and culturally, I didn't put dinner on the table for my husband every single day, and I felt like I was a terrible wife.
Mm-hmm.
And in all of these interactions, I think what it came down to was at some point, I realized, I went through a lot of coaching. Right? I didn't get here by myself. Okay, I didn't solve any of these problems by myself. I had this wonderful leadership coach, and he really said, you've got to look in the mirror, and you've got to understand and accept who you are. And humans have 3 basic needs. Every single one of us wants to be seen, we want to be heard, and we want to be accepted for who we are. And I think Brene Brown said it best. She said, you can't love somebody else more than you love yourself. Mm-hmm. So if you want to care for others, you got to start by caring for yourself.
Yes.
And so in this journey, I got to a place where I found myself trying to be somebody that I wasn't. I was trying to be somebody that someone else wanted me to be.
Yep.
And I had to really get to a breaking point and say, this is who I am. And you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
I am enough.
Yeah.
And that is, I write that down.
Yeah. And
I have it sitting next to my computer.
Wow.
So that I remember.
Yeah.
In those moments, because they still happen when I think, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible boss, I'm a terrible teammate, I'm a terrible mother, I'm a terrible wife. And I stop and I say to myself, I am enough. And so having that self-acceptance of this is who I am, and if Gurpreet can't accept me for who I am today, it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to be accepted by everybody. I don't have to be loved by everybody. But those who do accept me are the ones that are probably the best to be around.
And that's what Circle of Creation is all about.
And so I think that's what it comes down to is the journey. And again, I guarantee we all go through the journey, and we're still going through it, and
Yes.
I'm still going through it.
Yes.
Is to remember that know who you are, accept who you are for who you are.
Yeah.
Know that you are enough.
Yeah.
And let go
Yeah.
of all the things that all these other people want you to be.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And life has its own plans. A biomedical engineer student
Right.
going into consulting,
It's crazy.
innovation, entrepreneurship, technology,
Right.
AWS, your Amazon Go story that we heard at Circle of Creation blew our minds. I mean, how design thinking can go wrong sometimes
Yes.
if empathy part is not really looked into.
Right.
Parul, thanks for being part of Circle of Creation, coming to our podcast. I know a lot of women have connected with you, and we are always, so happy to see you at Circle of Creation. Your presentations were awesome, and I hope you will present again on some other topic because you have so much experience to share.
Well, I am blessed to be able to share my story with everybody else. And I hope that if people listen to it, they learn one thing, right? It doesn't matter what it is, but my goal is just to touch every human in some way.
Yes.
And leave a memory for
Yes.
you so that maybe you look back and go, oh my gosh, I remember. Like she told me that.
They
I
don't
am
remember you as a tiny person. They remember you as a very successful professional woman who has incredible story.
Well, I really appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want me back at the Circle of Creation, I will always say yes.
We will always need you. Thank you so much, Parul, for being here.
Thank you for having me.